All right, this was the page in your packet that I handed out in a new packet, either to some of you or separate from the packet because I forgot to include it in the packet. So just find this page in your packet that you stapled to the back or in your binder. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this out all the way around the outside first. And then I'm going to show you some further steps to cut and glue after we have the whole chart cut out and glued, or cut out around the outside. So what I'm going to actually do first is glue it in, and then we're going to cut further. These are going to be very similar to Mrs. Seep's science foldables. What I'm going to do is glue just the back side. You'll see this little strip showing through the back. We're just going to glue that part down. So just like this, and then the same on the other side. And so nothing in the middle is glued. It's just the two outsides here like this. Okay, then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut up the middle just like this. So then I have two flaps. And then I'm going to cut across. Actually, yeah, we'll cut across underneath here. So each individual question that's in bold is going to have its own flap. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. If I can go. So I have individual flaps just like this for each question. I'm going to put my title up on top. Adjectives. I guess it doesn't matter which one you choose first. Versus adverbs. Sometimes it's really tricky to determine whether we need to use an adjective or an adverb, or whether what's being used is an adjective or an adverb in each example. So we're going to look at adverbs first, since we're kind of in that unit right now. Adverbs are used to describe, the main one is verbs. They can also describe other adjectives. Sometimes you'll see an adverb and an adjective paired together. They can also be used to describe other adverbs. So you can have more than one adverb together, just like you can have more than one adjective together. So adverbs are used to describe verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Make them plural. Okay, adjectives describe nouns and pronouns. Okay, so go ahead and finish those up. Then I'm going to move on to the next two. So what questions do they answer? Adverbs answer a lot more questions than adjectives do, if you remember from those T's that we were filling out. So I'm going to write a little small here. I'm going to write how often, how long, how something is being done, ly. How slowly is something being done? Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see the top one. How often is the first one. The next one, when, where, how much, and to what extent. Okay, so lots of different questions that adverbs answer. Then I'm going to move on to the adjective side. Not as many this time. We have 3. What kind? Which boy, that boy, and then how many. Okay, so we have those 2 there. Go ahead and finish those up. Pause it if you need to. And I'm going to move on to the next 2. Next two are, where are they located in a sentence? So adverbs located in a sentence are before the word it's modifying, verb equals before. It can be after the verb, or at end of sentence. A lot of times it's going to be right before the verb, though, so that's why we have that right up there. Sometimes it could be at the end of the sentence. May have a word or two in between the verb and the adverb, but otherwise it's always most likely going to be very near the verb. Now, adjectives in the sentence are located before nouns and after a few verbs. Being verbs is what that means. So they could be after being verbs, which are linking verbs also. So they taste wonderful. It could be right after the verb, but otherwise they're usually before nouns. The beautiful girl, the strong desk, the glossy table. Now, examples. Go ahead and pause this if you need to, and we're moving on to examples. These open. Okay, so 2 sentences for each. First one, I drove well. Drove is my verb. How did I drive? How ly? How ly, or to what extent did I drive? I drove well. Can you slowly run to the office? Slowly run. Here it's right before the verb. Ly. A lot of times will be right before the verb. And there's 2 examples for you. Then adjective examples. That is a good sandwich. Good is describing sandwich, so it's right before your noun. Another one. I am careful. Okay, so here is an example of it being after a being verb, and I'm actually going to do this right here just to show that. So am is your being verb, and that's your verb in the sentence, but careful is not acting as an adverb. It's acting as an adjective because it's describing I. I am careful. I equals careful. So in this case, it's after your verb, but it's not right before your noun. So that's kind of what that part was describing there. All right, so I will try to open all of the tabs here and zoom out in case you need to finish any of the notes. Sorry, it's a little jerky there. Okay, so go ahead and copy this if you need to. I don't think you'll need to go as far up as I did, but just in case. And then otherwise, you're going to do the assignment that's attached here. You have a Google Slides attached to this assignment to complete after this.